Oh, come on. There we go. We are live. Hey, good evening, LinkedIn. Dave Wilson, the Ring of Hire Show. Hey, listen, tonight I got a great guest. And what's nice about Darnell is he's like right outside my back door. I think probably only about 20 minutes from me, Darnell. So how's it going, sir?
All is well. All is well. Enjoying what's left of the year and is
Right.
finally getting that cold weather snap. So it's snuggle time. And so I'm feeling chilly and snuggle. So I'm feeling great, man.
Awesome. That's why I tell you, I love that intro. All right, everybody knows the drill. I'll be right back after this video and we'll start the show. Come on, you got to give that to me. You got to love it.
And I feel like I was waiting for somebody to say, "This is Sparta." I'm amped, man. That was a heck of an intro, brother.
No, how many times I've played everybody, even the show last night, tomorrow, no matter how many times you play that thing. When I wrote that, I used the Fever app, right? And this got the one young gentleman I know in Bangladesh, wherever he is, he does my videos and he knows me by now. So I saw when he did that video and I was like, oh, I said, man, let me think of something to add on there. And I think I added every single thing about my life that I do for a job. And that came up on there, boy. And he did an awesome job for $30.
You can't beat that at all.
Yeah, right. This opening needs to be 20 seconds or less. I know it'll get you going. So I was excited to have you on here tonight, Darnell, and I'm going to introduce yourself here and what you do because I got a lot of questions from LinkedIn and networking, and I think I dissected your profile down pretty good. So introduce yourself to my network here and welcome.
Well, my name is Darnell Davis, and simply put, I believe that I'm a networking alchemist, and I'm the CEO of a little company named the Evolve Media Group of companies. We're a small brand development and branding agency. We kind of specialize in things branding, from website development down to graphics and ironically video content as well. And that's my day job, right? And then by night, I consider myself a superhero, as I get to put on an actual cape and do something really good in the world. And so I'm also the co-founder of a non-for-profit that combats human trafficking here in the Lehigh Valley named Aspire to Autonomy. So by day, marketing, brand developer, and I teach LinkedIn. I try to help people learn how to network, give them some strategic networking tools. And at night, I get to go to bed knowing that I'm helping and doing something wonderful in the world.
Wow. Okay. That's about why. If you see on your profile here, I think I got so much, every single word that you said there. Mike says it should have been 20 seconds or less, and then Mike says it could be shorter. Mike, I'm going to give you a reason why that is about a minute, and I thought about that. Sometimes people, say some things might be too long, too short. What happens with LinkedIn is sometimes it takes people 35 seconds, 45, 50 seconds, 60 seconds to come on to LinkedIn. And when the show gets streamlined to 6 to 7 things at once, like this is going to 2 social medias, 2 YouTube pages, it's going to X now, and plus LinkedIn. So I always like to put that in there just to get it. But I love that minute. It gets me going. Mike James says, good evening, gentlemen. All right, Mike. I'm going to start right into it because I got a lot. The way I met Darnell, when I scroll through LinkedIn, is the Friends of Pete group,
Yeah.
networking group. And I've been to that one before COVID when I had the one company for staffing. And Darnell, why is it important? And I you run that page, I think, most of the time. I think you're all over there. Explain what Friends of Pete is to you and what is the benefits. And I know what it is for me, but if nobody belongs to groups like this, what is, God, I got 10,000 questions for you. Just tell me.
All right. So I have to first and foremost, I have to pay homage where homage is due. The group is named Friends of Pete after a gentleman named Pete Renka,
Right.
and just an avid networking genius. And how I'd come into contact with him, ironically, is one of my former board members. He actually worked for her father here in the Lehigh Valley. And one day after a board meeting, she goes, "Hey, I have somebody I want you to meet." And I go, "Well, okay." She goes, "He's probably the only other person that uses LinkedIn more than I see you using it." And I go, "Preposterous. There's no way no one in the Valley is using LinkedIn how I'm using it. It's just not happening." And she goes, "I bet you're going to eat those words." And so I go there and check him out, and I go, "Whoa, wait a minute. This guy's like," I think at that time I was somewhere around 22,000 connections, and he was around 21.8 or something. It was really, we were getting like, we were like neck and neck. And so he started doing those. That was pre-COVID. And he had been doing the Friends of Pete thing from his days at LVDEC, right? And so they were just kind of a get together at the time. Actually, what you see, or the iteration of Friends of Pete that you see now, came as a result of the COVID lockdown.
Right.
And people were kind of used to getting together in these networks, and when they shut the world down, Pete and I came up with this crazy idea: let's go Zoom. And
we did do it Zoom.
We went Zoom, and
I guess I didn't see it. Wow.
And instead of going once a month, we were every Thursday, 5 o'clock p.m. We were there 5 o'clock, and so what we saw was people that they were just dealing with so much loss, because some people, small to mods, that shut down for small to mod, especially when you're not just above startup, it was a hit. And so a lot of the people, we call them friends, a lot of our friends were just, man, they were down and out. And so it went from just being about networking to it being about checking in on our people, and making sure everyone's good, because it was, so we had some, I'm sure some people shed some tears, and we had some check-ins, and in fact, we actually had one session where it was just all about mental health support, right? We had somebody come in and actually talk about mental health and how the impact of this the pandemic was going to have on businesses and business owners, to be exact.
That was a good idea.
And from there, we just started seeing the growth. And now, to answer your question, what does it mean to me? I love the fact that it's called Friends of Pete. Yeah, my name is Darnell, and I'm not Pete. But what I like about, or I love about it, is that we are more focused on building relationships and friendships, or friendships, if you will, right? Through networking. And the idea of that is to, really fortify relationships. I think that there are tons of other kinds of networking groups out there. You have all the different chambers and the BNIs of the world and all those different things, and and God bless them for what they do for business owners. But one of the things we just wanted the culture we were looking to cultivate was something a little bit different. The culture we're looking to cultivate is one where the needs are not, it's not about the closing a deal. It's not about the deal. It's about building a relationship. If I could tell you how many times we've seen people come through the network, they were in transition, they went from transition into nice, through the network positions,
Right.
the position that they were looking for. And so that's what it became more about. This group is more about building meaningful, long-lasting relationships that maybe today it's not, you're not closing that deal today. Maybe it's not
No.
tomorrow, but maybe that person that you met at one of the happy hours happens to know someone who needs a roof fixed.
Yep.
You're a roofer, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I first went, I was by myself. I had started Results Tab. Everybody said, you got to go to this. I'm like, I don't have money to go with. And I didn't even know what a networking event was. I was like, okay, well, I don't drink. So I know they have it at different places around. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go. So I sat down at the bar by myself and there was a lot of people. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, Dave, I got to just start talking or something. And before I knew it, I started talking to one person. And then I like how you kind of just moved around. You just really moved around after you talked to somebody for 15 minutes, then you went to the next person. And that's the concept, right? I mean, I've only went a couple of times and I did like how I could just say my company and I met so many friggin' people.
Yeah, it's again, we just want to build relationships, and then we're going to go back to that. That's going to be one of the core things you're going to hear me talk about.
Yeah,
it's about the relationship building, and really, and so the first timers. I know one of the things we say is we like first timers, but not one timers. But most of the time when people come, that's what we want you to feel. We want you to feel welcomed. We want you to feel, but we also don't want you to. So we don't want you to feel intimidated or sales to or pitch to. So we one of our favorite phrases as well is leave your elevator pitch at home, right? If you're going to come to our event, leave the elevator pitch at home because it's not necessary, it's not welcomed. Because I think that the elevator pitch is a tested true thing, a tool to have. But when you're in a room of let's say like lately it's been about 150 160 people,
you get a lot of people. It's awesome.
You going around just sharing your elevator pitch, it means you're not connecting. And I think that in a room that big, the objective is maybe connect with 5 or 10 people and have some meaningful connections. And then after the event, let's do some follow-up. Let's have some conversations. Let's grab some coffee. Let's go catch a movie for all I care.
And that's what I liked about it, because they told me, they said, okay, Dave, I want you to go over and meet this person over here. And before the end of the night, make sure you go over to see Hugh and everything. I was like, all right, Hugh Gallagher. I was over there. I was like, all right, I'll go to him. And before you knew it, I was just being guided. And Jordan says, I love the intro. Thanks, Jordan. he loves it. I got to get him on the show. He wants to come on too. But no, that's what I liked about it. And my point there is, why would you suggest that, Darnell, to even the younger generation that comes out? Why is it important for them to even come out for this? Which I wish a lot of people could see it.
So again, young, especially college students, one of the things that a lot of us, we get in college, we get a lot of the formal training, right? We get the formal education stuff. And so we have a lot of information, and it's a lot of information. You're bombarded with information. But then around April ish of the graduating year, the anxiety starts, right? Because now I'm about a month out of this thing being done, and I need to figure out what's my next move. And what tends to happen is a lot of people go from that point at around May, just before graduation and what have you, to start looking for internships or looking for jobs and looking for externships and what we found is that if we started introducing this idea, and we have a lot of college students that come, is, hey, come now, build your network while you're in school. Build that relationships. I'll scream it from the mountaintops. Build your LinkedIn while you're in school. Create content. Share what you're learning. Do something that creates a unique selling proposition or value proposition for yourself before you get to graduation time. So that,
I like how you said that. I like how you just said that. Create it for yourself. What do you mean by that? Like that? Create it for yourself. I like that.
When you're coming out, what are you selling? You're selling you. When you go to a job interview, you're selling you. So what is your value proposition for yourself? Who are you? That,
Okay.
I guess one of the reasons why I chose to put in there networking alchemist, right, is
Right.
that to me is what I've become. I feel like that's my value proposition. My personal value proposition is I'm a networking alchemist. I love blending people, creating networks, and
Yeah.
trying to create something from nothing, or helping people realize their dreams through their network. And it's about, kind of putting that personal brand message out there early enough,
Right.
even though you're still trying to figure out who the heck you are, right? In your senior year of college, or your final year of grad school. And so that's why we try to introduce, or get people introduced to networking early, so
Right.
that they're streamlining it, because your next job might already be sitting in a networking event that you didn't even realize, you're one introduction away. And
Right.
so we enjoy having the college students. We do a lot with Lafayette, and don't tell Pete that I said that, but a lot of Lehigh students also have been coming through as well.
Don't know. I think now, Joel, the intro is the best. Okay, we're gonna get to the subject, right? That's funny. The intro. All right, Joel said it's not who you want to meet, but who wants to meet you, and I agree with that. I enjoyed it, and I can see the benefits too of someone younger going out looking for a job, because wow, all the leaders are there. They're there to meet people. Travis says competent, capable, industrious, and grades. Yeah, that's Travis. Yep, he just says that. So I mean, I just, like you said, I wish they experienced it, and I like when you said, like, I try to tell my daughter all the time, you need to be on LinkedIn, and she's like, I don't have anything about it. I said, yes, you do. It's your card. It's your business card. That's why I look at it.
I am such a LinkedIn advocate. I've been on the platform for almost 2 decades now of my life.
Oh wow.
And well, my background's actually in lending, right? And
Right.
so I was working for Wells Fargo home mortgage at the time when I was a youngin, and it was a requirement at that time, and LinkedIn was still in its infancy around that time period. And
Right.
over the years, I used it but didn't use it. But about 2011, I realized that I started a new business. Actually, I started a group. And I realized that there was an opportunity that I think a lot of people just missed out, because we only saw LinkedIn as your CV. We saw it as your resume. We saw it as your business card. And then something great happened in 2016, right?
Right.
2016 happened, and Microsoft took over. And when Microsoft took over, the platform changed a whole lot in 2016. Okay. I say that to say that a lot of people just still in 2023 still see LinkedIn for what it used to be, and not for what it is today.
What it can be.
And as a result, I think that people are missing out on great opportunities, because other platforms are doing so well at what they do. Not saying that they're better. I'm just saying They're doing so well at what they do. And depending on the age group, they're going to be more of a TikToker or Instagram Reels, or they're going to be an Instagram. But LinkedIn, for what it's worth, no matter your profession, no matter what your background is, LinkedIn's going to have that. For your B2B or your B2C, LinkedIn's the place to play. And so I try to share with everyone, like, you got to change your mind about what LinkedIn is doing. I mean, look at us right now. We're on a live feed.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
On LinkedIn right now. And it's something that's not, prior to now, that's not something that we were capable of doing. And so LinkedIn has evolved in such a magnificent way that I believe that if you start harnessing the power of the platform, you'll be able to touch thousands without even leaving your home.
One of my questions for you, as I saw in here, I like how words to me mean things sometimes. And I like the strategic alliances. I like how you said that. Again, I mean, strategic alliances. Is that where you're talking about going after targeting and going after people that you want to connect with, or Relationships. I know you like that word too. Relationships too. So
it goes back to banking, right? It's really funny how I can go back there now all of a sudden here. But one of the things I learned was your alliances or the people that's in your network also help how well your business does. So who you know and what you have. So if I take it from a perspective of someone who's doing mortgages, right? You're going to have your favorite title company. You're going to have your favorite realtor. You're going to have your favorite. These are core alliances that you should have.
Right.
And you should have such a relationship with them that they should be able to refer business to you. You refer business to them, and they treat and understand your client as if it was you. And so when your client sees them or they're talking or speaking with them, they have the feeling that they are talking with you still. And so what I mean by strategic alliances is that you should have those types of people in your network that when it's time, when you're doing business, they may not be directly affiliated with what it is that you do, but they can become great mouthpieces. They become great support systems for the business that you're in. I can give you an example. There was two gentlemen that I met sometime. One is a plumber,
okay,
and one works for ServPro, right? And I said, now that in itself, to many see that relationship as they do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. Or do they? See, that's a moment for such a strategic alliance because they don't do the same thing.
Right.
The plumber is more than likely going to refer business to ServPro because he's not the one coming in and cleaning up and mitigating all the cleanup. But likewise, then the ServPro guy can also be a referral source for the plumber because now if it was a cracked pipe, if it was something else, people ask questions and that becomes an opportunity for him to refer a client. Right. For a client to this individual, and it doesn't seem like that's a likely pair, right? But that is a strategic alliance. That is something that is super strategic. That on the surface, you don't see it, but because of once you start looking beyond, okay, what does he do and who these two individuals are, and you watch them interact with one another, then you see, oh wow, okay, that was a smart move.
Yeah.
I joke with them. I go, it's really funny. It's awfully odd that a ServPro guy and a plumber are kind of buddy because, we need to check, or we need to check on some clients here because, as a joke, because you just think they're almost polar opposites, but they make a great pair. They make a great alliance.
And Joel says you have to make a brand of yourself based on your own morals and principles. And I agree 100% with that. That is so true. And then, Joel, you're really typing fast. It's almost the same as telling your friend about a movie you really enjoyed. Network is in the same way. Yep. I agree on that. But I like how you think about that when you put it like there, because some people, let me back up. When you're networking with somebody, I guess the question I really want to know too, is it good, to message somebody like you want to build that strategic, partner. Is it good to send that note? Is it good just to connect? Is there a reason where you want to go and you really want to write that note specifically to the person? You know what I mean? When you want to connect with someone, do you really want to is it good just to send the connection and you hope they connect, or do you want to put that small note in there?
Oh God, do you want them to interact with you? I would always suggest that if you have the opportunity to put a note on it, put a note on it, right? Because unless it's somebody that you're in passing and they kind of know who you are, and you're like, hey, and we just met. So, because one of the things that I use, there's a tool with the platform that I don't know if a lot of people use, but the app has this QR code on it, right?
Okay.
And then people can scan the QR code and it goes directly to your profile. And so those types of opportunities, there's no need for a note when you're sending a request because you're right there in front of the person sending the request. But if it's somebody that you're trying to make a connection with, and it's someone that's in your circle and you're able to make that connection, I always say put put the note out there, say something, create something creative, jog their memory if it's something that you met, you're someone that you met at an event and you're just trying to, I remember seeing James at this event and I found him on LinkedIn. You want to open up with that a note. You want to go, hey James, this is Darnell from the networking event over at so-and-so place. It was great talking. You want to jog the memory. The note it's powerful in helping people jog their memory, but you want to send that note. You want to make a connection. You want somebody to have, but the random click, because the likelihood of getting that connect, unless they know who you are or know of you, tends to fall. And then you start getting into trouble with LinkedIn because you got all these unaccepted requests out there, and so you want to make sure you kind of play that game a little wisely.
Yeah, I get very. I'm more when people want to connect. I've been going. I'm trying to build my network close to my area. I like it right in the Eastern area when I'm trying to go recruiting for ideas, and I like to go towards that here. Before I was like, when I first started, you would naturally, it's like, oh, connect, but reality is I didn't really know a lot of them, so I went back and cleared some out, to help me build my network there. You talk about with the importance of networking, but even on LinkedIn afterwards, that's where you want to do your follow-up kind of, right? You want to talk to the people afterwards about the business. That's what you were saying.
Yes. You after the event, I mean, if you, let's say for instance, you're at an event, you're having a conversation. Generally, you want to be in that conversation engaging about life, not necessarily business. Okay, hey, the formalities of business. I own this, I own that. I do this, I do that. Yeah, but Jim, how's the family? How are you guys maintaining in this marketplace? What how are you guys holding up with all this? Let's talk and let's get to know one another as human beings, because the business side is always going to be there. But getting to know this individual as a human being, then when you want to talk business, you also, in those conversations, you learn their core values. You know what's important. You learn what's important to them. You know that their family's important. There are key takeaways in those kind of conversations that you can get. It was, whether, your son hit the son in that conversation, the son just lost his basketball. Right. And one day you're ready to go meet with Jim. Jim told you his son lost his basketball and he just haven't been able to get the dicks to get a new one. And you know what? Down in the basement, there's one sitting still in the cart that I hadn't even used. Right. And I take it to the time when I go to meet Jim now for a one-on-one. Hey man, this is for your son. I remember he lost his basketball. Right. What do you think Jim's going to think about when he walks away from you? He's not going to walk away. He's not going to think about what kind of good business person you're not. You are. He's going to. That's an attentive person who understood, who heard me as a human being, and that's what's going to touch. Now, when Jim hears that Darnell, somebody needs to do some marketing for their company, he's going to not remember Darnell's a marketer. It's Darnell's the marketer that gave my son that basketball. Right. And my son, the joy on my son's face seeing that basketball after, that's what he's remembering when he's referring. So then he's not only going to tell you that, but he's going to also add in stuff about your character, because he's going to see the fact, he's going to remember that one thing that touched his heart. And that doesn't come from just that monotonous way of drilling and getting information from people. What do you do? What do you do? I do this, I do that. And let's get to know more. Again, it's all about building relationship. And if you can build those relationships over time, right, your needs will get met as well.
I love it, man. I got millions of things going through my head now. I'm like, all right. You got to talk about your first audio event today and what it was about. And you got to bring it up, because everybody now is just go out and check Darnell, connect with him, and your audio event. So how did it go? I had to ask you. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
I was saying earlier, it didn't go as good as I thought it would, but it didn't go bad. It was a 7 a.m. thing I had put out to the network. See, people were like 7 a.m. Let's do it. Do it on 7 a.m. Do it at 7 a.m. And so I got on at 6:45, trying to work out the kinks. Right. And for some reason, the platform just kept So I changed laptops, didn't work. Moved to my phone, didn't work. I'm like, what is happening with this thing that it just won't, it would not let me on. So I canceled out, ended it, and reset it for 7:30. And then I had a great conversation with one of the individuals that I have been wanting to lock into it. She's going to be one of my guest hosts on a regular basis for it. I call her a closer because, man, she's just tough, man. She loves that. She's passionate. She loves building relationship, but boy, she knows that her timing for asking to close. I've watched her in action. It's like, wow. You don't even see it coming. Well, huh?
You met her on LinkedIn?
No, she's part of the network. She's part of the network, and so she works. She's one of Pete's I guess contemporaries at Univest, and co-workers at Univest, and man, and so it was great having a conversation, learning about her journey, and then sharing. And so the subject matter is why we network, and so we got to talk about what that meant and why networking was important for her in her business and in the model that she's doing. We didn't get to have the conversation that we wanted to have with the others because of the technical difficulties, but we'll be back at it next Monday, 7:00, doing it again.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters with that. I wanted to talk about actually what you do with Evolve Media Group. What actually do you do for small businesses and businesses aside? What do you do with them?
So, sweet spots. You like yourself, words mean to me, words mean everything. And so Evolve Media Group is our niche is not small businesses or moderate businesses. We really don't have a size niche.
Right.
It is we want businesses, we want to interact with businesses that are looking to go from a simple to a more complex state, right? Which is the simple definition of evolve.
Right.
And so what we do is we're looking for the client who maybe they have everything together, but they want to make it better.
Okay.
We're not necessarily, it's not the sweet spot for us, the person that's trying to get things started, although we will help anyone that we can. Our sweet spot is the person who's like, hey, I love what I'm doing. I got it, but I'm ready to take myself to the next level. Maybe I'm looking for a rebrand. I'm looking for something else. That's kind of what we try to push our team to work with. It's been a great thing. It's been a blessing because it's been pretty much a referral based business. I haven't really had to do much marketing, and because of this platform, I've been able to do business in some places that I've never thought that I would. And so for the Evolve Media Group, we're branching out now. We're getting into some more content creation spaces, and we're going to be leaning more into event productions and such. And so we kind of been practicing with the lunch and learns for the last 2 years with the educational component kind of events. And so we're also going to be launching a PR and production company named Thrive Public Relations and Productions. And so that's something that's going to be coming up for 24.
Now, is that doing like marketing when you're talking like online marketing, like from all the social media outlets, building someone's brand, what they're about? When I look at stuff like that, when I hear you, I was thinking like when I had the business, I was at that point where, you got all that websites done. You got all that stuff out of the way. You got your social media being advertised. You got all your job boards. You got some of your connections, but sometimes you just can't pull it all together. It just wouldn't come together. And at the time, what I learned is if I had to redo something like that again, wow, would I use some services? And wow, would that free up all that cost savings? I bet I couldn't even imagine.
So one of the unique ways that I built this brand was I scour LinkedIn for people who do what I want as a product or service. And so what I do is I'll go in and I partner with these companies and like for creatives, I'll take creatives, for example, graphic designers and companies that are horrible at marketing. They're horrible at marketing themselves, right?
Right.
and but they're great at the work that they do. And so what I built, that's why we're called the Evolve Media Group, because what it is actually I've brought in a bunch of different companies that provide those services. So it's everything from social media marketing and management. I have somebody that's able to plug in for there, whether it's graphic or web development, someone to plug in there. I have, whether it's copywriting and content production, I have somebody there, photography, somebody there. And so any aspect of your company that you need to evolve or you're seeking to evolve, we have somebody or access to someone that will come in and just work with you and help you make a difference in your brand.
In the brand. And I like the innovative digital publishing. Is that just all the same thing that you just said about publishing in what, like articles? Is it publishing in books? Is it magazines? Anything like that? Or I was just curious about all that.
The funny thing is that it all started with a magazine. Right. All of this that you see in front of you, everything, it actually started with a magazine that started in 2010, 2011, called Evolution Magazine. And that's where it all started. I had just come through the downturn of the economy, right, with the mortgage industry, and was looking to do something different. I started doing some business development and saw that there was a niche. And here we are now, so the digital publishing, innovative digital publishing is that. We also have a couple of authors underneath of our header that have also published through us. I've published a couple of my own books through my company.
That's what I was going to ask. That was my next question. Are you in the process, or are you doing, because it says here about a book? Are you thinking about writing one? Is it going to get there? Or?
Well, I'm 4 books in now.
Oh, really?
I'm in the process.
Wow. Okay, that's
yeah. So I have my own. I have my own way about it.
Building a value-based network. Is that what it is?
So that's one of them. That's actually coming. Building a value-based network is one of the ones that's coming in 24. The book is written. We're just in production of that one. The one that I'm excited about, actually, that is I'm foaming at the bit for it, because it's actually my own personal rebrand. My inner rebrand is Networking Alchemy. Is the next book that's going to come out, and it dabbles in creating networking and how to some tools on how to create and build relationships and build value out of your network.
I think that's what I've learned about you so much. I've learned so much tonight about you so far. Is, man, you're like friggin' gung ho, man. You're like, you got that energy, and I can see that you enjoy what you do. I can just tell.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And there's if I can be candid, I have where I am in this space where I am now comes off of a lot of work. I enjoy what I do, but there was this new I have this new sense. I'm not going to call it urgency, but a new sense of like pep. Because last year, actually a year ago, almost to the day, I was diagnosed with advanced stage CKD, which essentially is kidney failure. And during that time period, the doctors were all going crazy. Families, you got to do this, you got to do that, you need to slow down, and you got to do this. And I was like, slow down for what? Right. And, but what it did is, during some meditation time and what it kicked, I kicked my own butt and said, yo, you could sit and waddle in the grief of knowing that you have this situation happening, or you could take charge and use that energy in that energy and turn it into something positive. So I started writing more. I started going into production more, and I started doing more. Because it was, to me, it's where I get my most joy from. I get energy from being around people. My cup gets full once or twice a month, and so that, to me, is the driving force behind all of this. Is, I just realized that, I have kids, and I have kids, and I'm thinking, hey, they could see me fight a battle and do it with joy and happiness, living a great life, loving on people, loving myself, loving them even more. I have a family, and everybody, and all those things. And I want people to see that side
Right.
of what's going on. And so that's where all of this energy is coming from, is because I said, you know what? I could sit and waddle in this and worry and go through all of that, or I could take that energy, and this energy is it's what's been giving me that push to keep going on, take some risks, right? And just, and do something different with your life.
Yeah, short story is my wife's always complaining sometimes I don't take things serious or I don't get mad. And the reason I don't, the towpath that we have out here, the towpath. About 2.5 years ago, I was walking down the towpath on a Sunday at 2:00, listening to music on my cell phone, and I decided to slip off the side of the hill. I rolled. Apparently, I got up, walked up a 50-foot cliff, walked off of it. I landed on all the boulders down on the Delaware River, flat out. Yeah, fortunately, all I remember, and the thing is, I'll show you one day, is I'll send it to you. I videotaped it. I pushed the video button. It was 16 seconds. Well, you see my hand reach for the phone, and that's when I called 911. And then that was it. 2 days later, I woke up. But it took 50 firefighters to get up. And my point that I say there is, wow, when I get things don't go my way, I sit there and I said, listen, there ain't nothing worse than sitting there down there on that bed of rocks. That ain't nothing,
Exactly.
And I try to look back every day at that. Mike says your own mind can heal yourself or destroy it. That's true. But Maria, hey Maria, oh my God, yeah, that was a long, and when I started the business, I didn't have health insurance too for the first time in my life. Well, that drill, woo, you wouldn't. All the bills started coming in, and I was like, wow. But like you said, you fed off your energy of that, and I can feel that when we talk. There was one thing that I noticed I like, and I even put it in bold. I wanted to ask you, what did you mean by building a value-based network, collaboration over competition?
That was my favorite chapter of this book. I put it up.
Yeah,
So again, in a highly competitive world, right? Everything is competition based. And you would think that life would be better because you're always on the competitive mode.
Right.
And what tends to happen is when you're in competition mode, you're in competition mode with all the aspects of your life.
Okay.
Right. So for instance, you're trying to build and develop wealth. So you're going to try to look and feel and be the part of those people, because if you're in that competition mindset, so what tends to happen is you'll build debt. You'll use debt to create a lifestyle, right? That will ultimately, so you could look like that's what you're doing, because that's that competitive nature. You want to look and be, and then look versus be, then look. Okay. And the competition collaboration over competition model that I've introduced there, it is the idea that if you focus on building collaborations and collaborative opportunities in your life and in your business and in your network, what tends to happen is now you're building opportunity without having to feel like someone's going to take something from you. So you're free to feel and to expand, and you don't have to be as tight to the hip about things. And with that expansion and your ability to expand beyond where you are and who you are, you'll see that your needs will start getting met. The things that you want start coming in, and it's not on your own effort. It's easier to pick up a couch with two people than one.
Okay.
Period. You can be as strong as you want to be, right? If you're trying to move your refrigerator, you can be a very strong individual, but it's so much lighter if you just pick it up with two people and move it across the room. If it's three people, it may get a little confusing, but it's even easier, right? And so that was the idea, is the old proverb that many hands make for light labor, right? And so if you take that mindset switch of being more collaborative, you'll be able to, you'll start focusing on how you can build a relationship versus when that next deal is going to close. Because if you're focused on that next deal, right, you're going to be focused on that next deal. And then you're going to focus on that next deal. but you're missing so many more deals behind you and on the side and your peripheral, right? Because you're focused on that deal, and as collaborative opportunities allow you to expand and look, because there might be somewhere, there may be a hidden gem somewhere that you're not seeing because you're hyper focused on that on that competition or that competitive mindset.
Wow. All right. That was that. I know what you're saying now. I like that. I because when I saw that, I kept reading it over and over. I'm like, all right, I read your whole note here. I'm thinking, damn, I don't understand all that. I'm like, what is he saying? What is he saying there? But now I get it. I really like how you how do you want to say it? You take so many things you've been talking about it, and it all comes back to building a network and building relationships. Everything that you said tonight, I think it all turns around and comes back to that. I can't believe where the shows. I'm definitely going to be coming back for another show with you. Definitely, that's going to hit. I'm going to talk to you more about that next time too. But if you had to give some advice, Darnell, to people out there watching, and you can tell you really like LinkedIn, what would it be about LinkedIn, and what do you want people to know about you?
Okay, so what I would want people to know about me and what I want people to know about LinkedIn, or my idea behind LinkedIn. So I'll start with LinkedIn.
All right.
Use the platform. You would be so surprised if you would just dedicate maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes a day on using the platform.
Right.
That's engaging, that's learning, that's talking, that's engaging, that's starting conversations, that's joining groups, that's doing stuff to build your network on there. It will be time well spent. It would be an investment in your future. I don't care I don't care the business and model that you have. If you're a photographer, you should be, and if you're a grocer, you should be on there, because people that are on LinkedIn have to eat food, right? If you have if you do, beard care, and if you do, razors, you should be on LinkedIn, because people on LinkedIn use those items. And those
Today I found somebody with placemats for advertising. I went online and I went there to look to advertise for in Texas, Austin, Texas. And I clicked in the website, then I clicked on it, and it goes right to his LinkedIn. And I'm like, I messaged him on LinkedIn. I was like, wait a minute here. What's he doing on LinkedIn? I would have never guessed, but that was a smart thing. Has everything about him. But go ahead. But that's
because it's a blessing, because people are going to be able to see content. They're going to be able to see your work history. They're going to see what you're doing, what you're busy doing. I think I liked with it when it comes to LinkedIn. I like what Gary Vee has recently said. He said he recently said something that caught my attention was LinkedIn now is more like Facebook 2015, 2016, the way that it operates, right? And every other platform, and there's a viral component to every platform. LinkedIn happens to be the place where the viral content and the viral opportunity is happening in a different way. In the mindset of the individual that's using the platform is consumer and it's selling. So you have two types of mindsets, but they're all about being in business. They're not interested in the fluffy or the mundane. They're interested in, if you're selling me something and we're talking and we're having that conversation, let's have that conversation. Versus Facebook and some of the other ones, you'll see some of those other interactions, and this is how family is doing, or TikTok dances and such, right? But LinkedIn happens to be that platform that is going to be a opportunity. It's an uncharted territory with 900 million people using it already, right? It's an uncharted territory that I think a lot of people who are in the B2B space or the B2C space just have not taken advantage of. And if they could take that advantage of just using the platform a couple of minutes a day, engage with it, that would be more than worth the investment, the time investment. As far as myself, I am just a connector, man. I love network. I love relationships. I love talking to people. I love seeing people win. If you're looking for someone because you need to be encouraged, hit me up. If you're looking for someone to kick you in the butt because you feel stuck, hit me up. I'm going to be that guy for you. I want to see people succeed. Yes, I write books. I've written a couple of books. Really, none of that, all that stuff, the writing, all that stuff is just because I want to share my heart, because I want to see people succeed. My heart is seeing people generate and build network so that they can achieve their success goals. And if that can happen from 1 or 2 people, man, my day has been made great. And so that's what really about me is that I love connecting. I love making sure that people see the potential that's inside of them and that they get to achieve their success goals.
That is awesome. We got Bill Bradford. Hey, Bill, how's it going, sir? Hope your grandchild, he's had a grandchild. And Bill is just like you said, I met Bill 2 years ago, and now we've been good friends. You know, he pops on the show. I've had him on the show. We talk offline. If it wasn't for LinkedIn, I wouldn't be friends with Bill. You know, we would, our paths would have never met, and I love that. Marie says networking for now and future partnerships. That's right, Marie. So, but no, I want to, Darnell, thank you. I'm going to talk to you after I put the video back on. Good inspiration for me tonight. I got a lot of great ideas off of this one. My mind wouldn't stop because I'm going to be thinking about relationships. All right, I'm going to draw a circle. Who can I go after now, and why do I want that person? You know, and I get what you're saying there, because it's, you might not use them now, but you're going to use that person later on, you know, and build it now to where you might not need it, but I see what you're talking about. So, but I'd love to have you back on the show, and this is going to play replay. A new function of StreamYard, which I love about this. This show will be aired back at 11 a.m. tomorrow live. It's going to say live, which is a free recording, but I like how StreamYard and LinkedIn put it as live. So it'll be a second showing on that. Yeah, you got to love it. So thanks so much, Darnell. And I'm going to talk to you right after this. Have a good night.